Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Overlord. We have just finished the main storyline, and now we're going to go and take on the last abyssal area. This one is in the Reborian Desert. I have off-screened a playthrough of it, so I do know my way around it. It's not anywhere near as much of a puzzle as most of the other abyssal areas have been, so I kind of wish I had done it as a blind run, just right after I finished the main game, but I did not do that. I am taking nothing but browns with me. It's pretty straightforward, but I have found that a lot of the combat of it is fairly chaotic, and I'm not going to get much chance of controlling my blues and keeping them under control and getting them to do things correctly. And even leaving them on a guard marker in some of the areas has not seemed to really work well for me. So I'm just going to take browns and deal with whatever losses that we take. I don't know that I have any equipment on any of these minions. Well, no, it looks like at least one of them up there has a helmet. So apparently we did have some that survived the entire way through the end boss fight, which I did not think had happened. I thought I got wiped out a couple of times during it. And right up here in front of us is the last abyssal gate, but this one is not active.
The gate is locked, sire, but it resonates with evil energy. Perhaps the proximity of the other abyss stones might coax it to unlock.
And I basically stayed in the way of my minions trying to get the abyssal stone there, to try to make sure that I had enough time to let all of that play, and have enough time that I could let you have a good view of the gate and what's happening as they put the stones in place. If you watch off to the left there, the abyssal stone actually rises up when they put it into place. Now they'll be over here on the right side. And these are the abyssal stones that I got out of the other 4 abyss areas.
And warm up your fireballs, O Lord. The power behind this one is greater than anything we've encountered.
And we are ready to go in. I'm kind of torn how I feel about the expansion pack for this game. It does add some good content and has some interesting stuff and is fun to play through, but it does make the game a little bit anticlimactic. The storyline for the original game was much better than what they did in the expansion, and to have this gameplay that's only available after you've already finished the primary story and the good story, it just feels a little odd. Here in the entrance area, you do have access to all 4 colors of minions. 3 of them are down here. You've got a mana pit and a tower portal and a health pit. And then the brown minion spawning pit is up here on top of the hill, which is actually quite handy for it to be further forward.
Quickly, Master! Ready your minions!
Because right here at the beginning, all we are supposed to do is survive. But this is going to take a good bit of time and a good bit of fighting. Having the ability to resummon any of the minions that die right here up at the top of the hill in the fight is an advantage that I'm going to get by having nothing but brains. They do come from both sides, so unfortunately you can't just focus all of your minions in one area and let them just deal with everything. Although I guess if I back up just a little bit more and let them come to here, that I will be able to do it. I did not think of that in my practice playthrough. Of course, doing it this way will also focus all of the enemies into one spot, so I'm not really going to be gaining much of any of an actual numbers advantage. How many of them there are compared to how many of me there are is going to be basically the same. But it's just going to be nice to limit the number of button pushes and amount of control and having to do at any time. So it's good just for the simplicity. Although, tactically, it is going to be slightly better. It's nothing but these wraiths that they send at this point. They do send some of the ones with the bigger two-handed axes, and I'll step forward with the Overlord himself to help fight those. And that's the hardest thing they send here, so there's not really any kind of challenge. It's just a matter of taking your time and go through all of it. So anything that will simplify the controls through it, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of it. It's not like I'm exploiting some glitch to get past something that's difficult. I'm not making a fun section any less fun. There comes another one of the big guys, so I'll step forward. Probably ought to be going ahead and stepping forward with my minions every time, because I do pretty good damage with this. And with the regenerating armor, there's not any kind of threat of them hurting me too much. And like I said, this does go on for a while. I already start to consider this a little tedious. It's silly to make you go through this much of just the same stuff over and over. I don't know that I have any way of speeding it up though. If you've dealt with as many as what we've dealt with so far though, there's no reason to have to deal with more. You can obviously do it. If they kept sending them in slightly larger groups at a time, or sent some of those rat boss creatures, I could understand it, but I think it's a little silly to send these same ones in these same small numbers over and over and over.
I keep getting this nagging feeling in the back of my mind, sire. A scab of a memory I just can't pick.
So now we've got several different paths that we can take, and they all take us down into the same next area. I am going to go off to the left here. Don't worry, I will show you where all of them go and where they do all end up connecting. This is just the one I'm going to go with first. For one thing, it's got a good bit of treasure right here. And I'm going to go ahead and break this. I was hoping that it would have a good bit of life force, because those do sometimes. And since I'm planning on playing through with a mindset of not worrying about trying to do it tactically and just dealing with whatever losses we take, it would be nice to have the extra life force. So we had one of the rat bosses right there. And then this loops around, and right here is where it will meet up with all of the other paths that we could have taken. The two paths in front of me that are going uphill are the ways that the wraiths were coming up to attack us during that survival mode, basically. Down here we've got a couple of the guys with guns. I'm going to go ahead and take them out first.
I think you should follow that path. It's important.
Because right back there is another one of the rat bosses. Now we'll deal with him since we've taken care of all of the guns. And we'll break all of the stuff here behind him to get whatever we can out of it. That one had a good bit of green life force, which is kind of nice. And this one appears to have a whole lot of red life force, although it's in the form of a bunch of beetles. while that's not the life force that I'm planning on using, the green will actually work if need be. And that was the one other path I could have taken. I do think there was a fork that would have come down directly to here, although I don't see a path that leads down to here. And then the only way that's open and available to be continuing is in this direction. Along the way, there are going to be a handful of wraith fights. They're really simple ones again, though. Nothing that's going to change as later on. But I'm pretty much out of time, so we'll go ahead and end this video here. And in the next video, we'll see how much further we can get.